Welcome to another installment of the SHU Sports Report. I'm Aaron Burrell.
And I'm Kara Levine.
Kara, the Sacred Heart men's basketball team had two away games this past weekend. Why don't you start us off with that?
Absolutely, Aaron. The men's basketball team continued their 4-game road trip as they traveled to Brooklyn to take on the Terriers of St. Francis Brooklyn last Thursday. Sacred Heart's offense exploded for 41 points in the first half to go up 41-27 at the break. Quincy McKnight led all scorers with 26 points, 15 coming from the second half, putting away the Terriers 87-75. Joseph Lopez had 21 points and 16 rebounds for his 6th double-double of the season. Mattea Buvat scored 16 points off the bench, helping Sacred Heart with the win. SHU knew to keep their focus as they traveled to Bryant for a big game on Saturday. Sacred Heart trailed by 9 at the half, 43-34. Rallying back, SHU tied the game at 64 with 6 minutes left. Sparked by 3-pointers from Sean Hohen and Mattea Buvat, SHU took a 77-71 lead with 37 seconds left in the game. However, 3 threes from the Bulldogs sent the game into overtime, tied at 80. In the first overtime, Sacred Heart led 91-88 with 25 seconds left, but a Bryant 3-pointer forced the game in a second overtime. The roles were reversed in the second overtime as Bryant took a 101-99 lead with 37 seconds left. McKnight's layup with 21 seconds left tied the game at 101, pushing it into a third overtime. With the game tied at 110, Sacred Heart took the win with the game-winning layup from Lopez. McKnight had a career-high 44 points, while Lopez had his 7th double-double with 19 points and 10 boards. Mattea Buvat's season's high 18 points was among 3 other Pioneers scoring double digits. SHU performed great, taking 3 out of 4 during their 4-game road trip. They have had some time to rest before they face off Mount St. Mary's tonight at 7 p.m.
We'll have more on SHU hoops later, but for now, let's take it over the ice with men's hockey. Sacred Heart hosted a 2-game series at the Webster Bank Arena against Atlantic hockey opponent Holy Cross. The weekend series featured both games going into overtime. Friday night, heroics were on display as senior Justin Danforth stepped up at the 1:33 mark in overtime to score the game winner for SHU on a power play as he put in the rebound from freshman Zach Sekos' shot off the pipe to give SHU the 2-1 win. Senior Jeff Carroll scored the lone goal in regulation for SHU when he scored at the 12:55 mark in the first period for his 3rd goal of the season. Sophomore Brett Magnus came up big for SHU, making 32 saves to help the Pios pick up the win in Game 1. The Pioneers carried over their momentum from Friday, scoring 2 goals in the first period for the first time this season. Senior Justin Danforth got the scoring started for SHU when he deflected Mike Krocock's slap shot in from the point. Senior captain Mitch Nyland extended the lead for SHU to 2-0 on a slap shot from the top of the slot when he received the puck from freshman Vito Bavaro. Holy Cross would cut into the Pioneer lead, scoring in the second period and eventually tying the game in the third. Both teams would settle for a point as neither team was able to find the back of the net in overtime. The men's ice hockey team will be back in action as they take on Bentley at the Webster Bank Arena tomorrow night at 8:35 p.m. The nationally televised game will be on the American Sports Network and NESN Plus. For more SHU sports, let's send it over to our first segment of the Update Corner with our very own Gino Ganello. Gino?
Thanks, Aaron. Sacred Heart certainly had a lot of success over this past week as we start off with women's ice hockey. Sacred Heart took to the ice Friday the 13th against a familiar St. Michael's team. The first period featured standout plays from both goalies, leaving the period scoreless. SHU opened the scoring in the second period, going up 2-0. St. Michael's bounced back 2-1 at the 6-minute mark as they looked to tie the game going into the third period. The lone goal in the second wouldn't give St. Michael's the edge as Sacred Heart again put another goal on the scoreboard with less than a minute left in the game. Sacred Heart would pull off the win 3-1 as Taylor Moreland, Katie Stuvey, and Ariana Boschia all netted goals. Stuvey not only scored a goal but claimed a multi-assist game. On Saturday the 14th, Sacred Heart traveled to Massachusetts to take on Salem State University. The Vikings grabbed the lead off a goal late in the first period, pushing the game 1-0 into the third period after a scoreless second. Cassandra Hanlon tied the game up from a Brittany Smith assist under 3 minutes into the third period. From there, it was all Stuvey as her hat trick clinched the lead and the 4-1 win over Salem State University. The women's ice hockey team will travel to Maryland tomorrow for a weekend series against Stevenson University. Track and field traveled to New Haven for the 35th Yale Collegiate Invitational, where both men's and women's teams claimed high achievements. Starting with the men's team, Quahim Dufresne placed first in the 60 meters finals with a time of 6.98 seconds after placing third in the preliminaries with a time of 7.1 seconds. Joshua Beloff placed first in the 200 meters with a time of 22.65 seconds. Sebastian Pierre took the top spot in the 500 meters with a time of 1 minute and 7.13 seconds, while Trevor Guerrera claimed first in the 1,000 meters with a time of 2 minutes and 25.69 seconds. Connor Rogg once again topped his own record in the men's mile while taking first in the event with a time of 4 minutes and 16.81 seconds. The men's team had an additional 14 athletes make the top 5 in their respective events. On to women's track and field, where Nicole Bartosz not only placed first in the 60-meter preliminaries, but placed first in the 60 meters finals, the high jump, and the long jump. Her time of 7.82 seconds in the 60 meters finals created a new personal best. Kayla Lawrence placed first in the 500 meters with a time of 1 minute and 16.19 seconds, while Jacqueline Thorne placed first in the 1,000 meters with a personal best of 2 minutes and 56.36 seconds. Her performance garnered NEC Track Rookie of the Week for the second consecutive week. Tara Connolly placed first in the women's mile with a time of 5 minutes and 5.53 seconds, while Selena Sampieri placed first in the pole vault event. The women's team had an additional 23 athletes place in the top 5 of their respective events. Track and field look to carry on their success today in Boston at the quadrangular meet with Boston University, Boston College, and UMass Lowell. We'll be back a little later with more from the Update Corner. Aaron?
Thanks, Gino. The Sacred Heart men's volleyball team opened up the season hosting a 2-game series versus North Greenville University. On Friday the 13th, Chris DeLucy got the team going, hitting 5 for 5, and then going on another run to give SHU the 15-13 lead. Senior Michael Comans added back-to-back aces to bring the Pioneers up 20-17 and eventually winning the first set. North Greenville challenged SHU after multiple lead changes and then tied the second set at 18. The Pios were able to pull through and take the second set 25-22. SHU was ready to take home their first win of the year, starting off the third set with an early 4-point lead. SHU didn't look back as aces from Emerson Womans sealed the win in the third set, 25-15, sweeping the Crusaders 3-0. Sacred Heart then faced the Crusaders again on Saturday. Not wasting any time, SHU won the first set by 16 points. North Greenville put some pressure on and took an early lead in the second set, but the Pioneers tied the set 8-8. After that tie, North Greenville couldn't come close to Sacred Heart as SHU took the lead in the second set and won the game 25-20. The Pioneers were determined to sweep the Crusaders again and won the third set 25-19. SHU stays at home to host Fort Wayne tomorrow night at 7 p.m. and welcome Ball State on Saturday night.
Looks like the men's volleyball team had quite a successful open to their season, Aaron.
That they did, Kara. And I saw that the women's basketball team had quite a bit of success on the road themselves. Why don't you get us caught up on that?
Yeah, they definitely did, Aaron. On Saturday the 14th, the Pioneers traveled to Rhode Island to take on the Bulldogs of Bryant. Bryant outscored the Pioneers in the first 2 quarters, with Sacred Heart trailing the Bulldogs by 5 going into the half, 32-27. In the third quarter, the Pioneers put on a defensive show as Bryant only scored 8 points, allowing Sacred Heart to take the lead 48-40. SHU held the lead in the fourth quarter, taking the win 65-53. Adacia Williams tied her career high with 22 points, while Catherine Haynes continues to step up after missing last season, as she is now averaging 10.5 rebounds. Now let's fast forward to this past Monday, January 16th, where the Sacred Heart women's basketball team headed to Brooklyn to take on the Terriers of St. Francis Brooklyn. The Pioneers started out great by piling on 29 points in the second quarter and had the lead at the half, 49-29. The Terriers used an early third quarter run to attempt the bounce back. However, SHU kept the lead the entire game. Hannah Kimmel recorded her 4th double-double of the season with 28 points and 14 rebounds, and sophomore Catherine Haynes finished with 19 points. SHU improved to 5-1 in NEC play. The women's basketball team will be returning home to host Wagner at 1 p.m. on Saturday, January 21st at the Penn Center, so I better see everyone there. For our last segment of the Update Corner, now let's send it over to Adam Chambers for more SHU Sports Report. Adam?
Thanks, Kara. The men's wrestling team hosted their second dual meet of the season. Last Friday, as Hofstra visited the Pitt Center, Elliott Antler picked up the lone Pioneer victory with a decision win in the 184-pound weight class. Antler defeated Michael Oxley 6-2. Casey Mitchell, who has been on a roll lately for SHU, led his match against Jake Comiskey before falling victim to a late takedown to a fall decision 9-6. SHU's back at the William H. Pitt Center this Sunday as they host a tri-dual meet against Bloomsburg and Franklin and Marshall. We go from the mats to the pool as Sacred Heart swimming and diving had quite the splash in the 2017 opener. The Pioneers claimed a 118-83 victory against Manhattan on Saturday the 14th, improving their dual action record to 6-1. In the distance competitions, Kim Hyland placed first in the 500 freestyle, while Shanna Haddo earned her first ever individual win, placing first in the 1000 freestyle. In the sprint freestyles, Jillian Crosby, Kaylee Dion, and Olivia Dekas placed first in their respective events, while Lauren Summers just missed a new pool record after taking first in the 100 freestyle. For the stroke events, Anna Brown, Jessica Poole, and Nicole Rudis all earned the top spot in their respective events. Swimming and diving are back in the pool Saturday the 21st as they head to Fairfield to take on the Stags. That's all we have for this week's Update Corner. I'm Adam Chambers. Back to you guys.
That wraps up this week's installment of the SHU Sports Report. I'm Aaron Burrell.
And I'm Kara Levine.
Be sure to tune in next week for all your Sacred Heart sports.